Hi, hello. Congratulations on completing the define phase and measure phase. And now we will learn about the analyze phase. As a team, we wanted to analyze the process to identify the root cause. So in this particular video, I'll help you understand the aspects of analyze phase, starting with the toll gate review. That means the important questions that you need to answer at the end of the analyze phase, and then the various steps that are involved in the analyze phase and the main deliverable. And then we will also learn about the tools that can help us in completing the analyze phase steps to produce the deliverable in line with our requirement. So let us get into the video. So these are the important questions we need to answer at the end of the analyze phase. We call this as toll gate review. The first question, have you identified the sources of waste, risk, and variation? See, we have a gap in performance. And what is the source of the gap in performance? Could be variation, could be risk, could be waste. So we need to figure out whether the waste is responsible for the gap in performance, or the risk is responsible for the gap in performance, or the variation is responsible for the gap in performance. Whatever it is, we should be able to quantify it, and then we will reduce the source of the variation, source of the risk, and the source of the waste using that quantified metric. And once we reduce the quantum of variation, automatically the performance will improve. So this is the first question need to be answered. Have we identified the potential X and the critical X? Because for a problem, there could be n number of causes. Have we identified the potential causes? And also out of the potential causes, which are really critical, nothing but the root cause. So which are the root causes? Have we identified using the appropriate methods and tools? And have you statistically validated the root cause? You have identified the root cause, but that's not good enough. You should also be able to statistically validate them. Then only you will be able to convince the people around you, and thereby they will accept your finding, and then they will allow you to make changes in the process. So the third important question is, have you statistically validated the root causes? Certain statistical procedure is there to validate any root cause. We'll do a small experimentation to validate the root cause, and which is called hypothesis testing, which we will be mastering in the upcoming lessons. Has the validated factors sufficient to produce the result? It means there are, let us say, there are three factors considered to be critical, and now what is the contribution of each of the factor, right? And certain factor may have a major contribution, certain factor may have a moderate contribution. So accordingly, we will treat the factor, and then we will try to improve the performance. In case if the overall contribution by considering all the critical factors is less than 80%, it simply means you have failed to include some of the critical causes, and probably you may have to go back and then do little more brainstorming and cause and effect study, and then you will be able to improve the performance to the desired level. And also when you are offering when you are doing the analysis to offer the solution, it is also important to quantify the risk. By solving a problem, we should not invite some other new problem. So it is always a good idea to quantify the risk, and you can think of using tools such as failure mode and effect analysis to quantify the risk. And then if the risk is under control, then you can actually proceed with your findings. Otherwise, you should also think of minimizing the risk associated. So these are all the steps in analyze phase: listing all possible X factor, right? And then identify and validate critical factor. For a problem, there could be n number of causes, but not all causes may be the root causes, or not all causes may be the critical causes. For that particular problem which we are analyzing, some of the factors might be critical. So we need to figure out those critical factors from the possible factors, which is the next step. And moreover, we should also validate them. Just identifying the critical factor is not enough. We should also validate them. And then we should move on to verifying the sufficiency. What is the influence of each factor on the pain metric, and that also we need to verify. And for that we will be doing some again statistical study called correlation and regression analysis. And once we complete all these three important steps in the analyze phase, then we will be able to figure out the validated root causes. The validated root causes may be one or many, right? And now these are the tools I'm recommending so that you can actually carry out the analyze steps very effectively. In order to list all possible X factor, you can think of using tools such as brainstorming, either structured or unstructured brainstorming, and then YY analysis, and then cause and effect diagram. And then when it comes to next step of identifying and validating the critical factors, tools such as null hypothesis, alternate hypothesis, type 1 error, type 2 error, probability of significance, also known as p-value, and the test of means and test of proportions, and all these, we should be able to use them so that we can effectively validate the root causes. And then for verifying the sufficiency of the critical factor, we can use correlation analysis and regression analysis. So what is that we learned in this particular module? The objective of the analyze phase is to identify as well as validate the root causes. And we can list the possible X factors using tools such as brainstorming, fishbone diagram, and YY analysis. We can use any one, or we can also use the combination of all the three. The combination of all the three can give you a better picture of listing the possible causes. And then once you have list of possible causes, you can narrow down the list using Pareto analysis or a Pareto plot. And then you can formulate a hypothesis statement for each and every critical factor, I mean the potential critical factor, and then you can validate the criticality using appropriate statistical test to call the potential critical factor as root cause. And then if there are multiple root causes, you can verify the sufficiency of the factors using regression analysis. What is the contribution of each factor? So what is the total contribution? If the total contribution is 80% and above, that means you are going to make a considerable improvement in the process, right? And this is how the analyze phase will flow. And then we will have the validated root cause in hand at the end of the analyze phase. So thank you for watching, and we'll see each and every tool of the analyze phase in a detailed manner in the upcoming lessons.